We were scoring. I was like,
Good job.
Good job, boys. Well done.
Manly, Broncos, Panthers,
Yeah.
and Melbourne Storm. They're the top four. We
Yeah.
can end the comp. Manly, Panthers, and Broncos lost.
Guilty.
But I gotta say, Kick Out, please get your blonde hair back. I couldn't.
Yeah, I
was
couldn't
like,
tell. I couldn't
where
tell when
is
it
he?
was.
Oh,
Wallah.
is that Kick
You're
Out?
actually right. That's a very good point.
He's got to get his blonde hair back, man. I miss it.
Oh, Maron, what are you doing? Hey, like, comment, subscribe, share. Do everything you got to do, man. It goes a long way. Trust me. You like my shirt? Get straight into the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of League Lads. My name is Suey. This is Flaxy. Hectic Fred is actually celebrated so hard last night. Two things. He celebrated the Bulldogs at Belmore, and he celebrated Newcastle beating my beloved Reds, Liverpool, in the Premier League, in the Carabao Cup. I stayed awake. I didn't sleep. I stayed up all the way. The game was at 3:30, finished at 5:30, so I just might as well stayed up. Slept at 6, woke up at 9, went to work. You know what I mean? So this is what we do for the love of our sport, for the love of our team. We go through so much, and I don't know what the hell we get in return, but I hope we get some trophies. But Fred's a bit sick today. He's a bit under the weather, so we gave him the day off. And it's just me and Flaxy, and we got Joe in the background, bro. He's probably met Joe last week. I didn't want to reveal him too early, but I got hungry and I was fasting, so I had to get out of here ASAP. Boys, it's actually good to have you on. It's actually like it's a different dynamic today.
I was gonna say
We've never done this.
No, we've done me and Fred.
My first time.
Very first time. And not only that, it's my first time back since Vegas. I took a bit of a hiatus. So
we were grilling you the last couple of episodes. You've
yeah.
seen. We did have a big meeting, so hopefully everything this season is going to be about growth. Just to touch on something quickly, we got Joe, we got Flax. They're learning with us. We want to grow as a podcast, as a brand, and we want you to always interact with us, the community. Man, I'm so grateful. I was at the game yesterday, and we'll speak about the Bulldogs game. And someone came up to me, and the whole time I'm sitting in membership, and I'm like going off, you know. And then this guy turns around, he's going off with me. Probably like the last 5 minutes of the game, he's like, "Bro, aren't you like? Don't you have the podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." Like, and then he goes to me, "I'm like with Fred." He goes, "Yeah, Fred." He goes, "I love you. I love what you talk about. Like, you know, you actually speak. You aren't just any rugby league podcast. You actually have your own take and your own opinion on things." And I was very grateful for that, bro. It was very nice to meet him. I never got to get his name, but shout out to you, lad. If we're at Belmore again, I'll see you because we're members and that. We sit right in front of each other. Yeah, mate. But yeah, bro. Let's talk about some footy, Flax.
Mate.
First of all, how's Vegas?
Mate, Vegas, just to sum it up real quick, it was awesome. Going back next year,
100%.
it was insane. Just think Magic Round just on
steroids.
On steroids. That's the best way to describe it.
How are
And
the Americans, man?
man, they couldn't understand the concept of league. It's like, oh my God, rugby. It's rugby
league, dude.
Rugby. And it was like, oh, that thing at Allegiant Stadium. I was like, yeah, you should go. And I swear, I like convinced maybe 3 or 4 Americans to go. So
No way.
I did my part, you know. So
Flanders, you watching?
mate, I did my part, you know. They're like, oh, how much is it? I was like, $29. And I was like, oh, that's not bad at all.
$29.
I was like, $29.
The NBA is like a couple hundred.
Exactly. I went to the NBA as well while I was
Nice,
over
I've
there.
seen that.
But yeah, I was like, it's $29, $29. I was like, yeah, and it's 10. Like, you know, you don't even have to be there the whole day. Just go have a
rock
look.
up.
And yeah, I feel like I convinced a few of them to watch. And yeah, overall, great time. Hopefully, if the Bulldogs go there next year, you know, maybe a podcast from Allegiant Stadium. You never know.
I definitely won't be there. Yeah, I got different plans in my life at the moment.
Nah, that's fair.
Listen, if I could afford to go, I'd love to go. I'd love to watch the Bulldogs in Vegas. It will actually be a dream to watch my team play abroad. But life is tough, bro. So
I get
gotta
you.
sacrifice some things. But hopefully, man, God blesses us and we're able to go. Now let's talk about some rugby league. You're a loser this week. I'm a winner. Me and Joe. Shout out to the Dogs. I want to speak about the Bulldogs first and foremost. I want to get it out of my system, and then we'll speak about Penriths and then the other games. A lot of big things happened this week, bro. A lot of injuries, a lot of massive players out for the season, a lot of players out for not the season, sorry, to start off the season. A lot of underdogs, bro. A lot of dark horses that we really need to talk about because I missed a few games this week as usual, but the games that I did watch, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like I was tripping out. So we'll start off with the Dogs first and foremost. Matty Burton, Viliami Kikau, losing them two literally made the game feel like a loss. But I'm going to shed light on the positive stuff because that's the stuff I like to talk about. Belmore was amazing yesterday. Now, I was fasting. I don't like to go to any rugby league games. When I'm fasting, it's just like a spiritual month. I don't want to just I just want to be in my own corner. I want to be with my family. I don't really want to go out and be with people.
Add extra stress.
Yeah, and add extra stress. And obviously, you have to be patient. You can't swear. You know how it is. You got to be disciplined. And I was there yesterday, and for the first half, I think, because like we broke our fast at like 7 something. For the first half, I was so disciplined. I was like, bro, I was so disciplined. I was like, we were scoring. I was like,
Good job,
boys. Well done. Anyway, second half, bro, I was off my rocker. I was losing it. I was yelling at the ref. I wasn't swearing. I'm trying to keep away from swearing, but I was yelling at the ref. I was losing it. But the atmosphere in Belmore, wallah, it was actually amazing yesterday. Like from the kickoff to only when Burton got injured, it kind of died a bit because obviously everyone's sad. But from kickoff to full time and to after full time, amazing, bro. It makes me wonder why. Like I like Echo. Like I don't mind going there. I feel like the trip is fun to me, even though the crowd is dead. But I don't like. I really preferred Belmore. I know Belmore's mad and that, but there's like small TVs and it's not really practical. But my seats where they were, I was so happy, bro. And like I'm happy that I'm a member this year. But it was so good. The atmosphere was good. Everyone was respectful. A lot of fasting people, to be honest. I seen a lot of them in their faces. A lot of people that were like, and I'm like, I feel you, brother.
Bloody clock.
7:15, yalla.
Please hurry up.
And everyone had like nuggets and shit after. It was good, man. But that's the first thing. Second thing, I've never seen us start that well in my actual life. Well, like I felt like I don't know how dominant you could be. Like when Golden State Warriors and Curry are on a absolute 3-roll, like you just feel like you're helpless on the other team. We started off so well. I couldn't believe my eyes. I just like the boys are up for it. And I just felt like it was too good to be true. Like, bro, I was sitting there and I was like, told me like we're not going to lose this game. You know what I mean? And obviously we didn't, but we lost Burton and thing.
We were beating the clock at one point.
Yeah, that's right.
22 points in 20 minutes. We were scoring more points than we were on the clock.
Bro, the first like a set of attack, bang, Montoya over. And then who scored second?
Simon, the fish.
Oh, yeah, the fish with the nice dummy off the scoop. I don't mind the fish, bro. Straight out, everyone gives him a lot of shit, but I don't mind him. I don't mind like a dirty player, like a player that just does
Wake the other dog.
yeah. I don't mind someone that does the dirty work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when I watch the Warriors and like they had Tavaga, you see him do the dirty work to Harris, doing dirty work, you know, before they retired, obviously. But I don't mind Salmon. So he was over, Curran was over.
Curran was the most casual try of all time.
Yeah, that was like...
After the penalty, runs it straight.
I was sitting right in front of it, right? And I was like, surely, if I'm a Titans fan, bro, I'm just leaving. Like, after that, I'm just leaving.
I mean, last time you guys played them there last year, they had Tino's ACL injury, and then they didn't even score a point. So, like, they did a bit better this year.
They did better this year, 100%. And like, Tino copped it, bro. Tino was like, he like, honestly, like, why did we hate him again? Because of New South Wales, yeah?
Because
Burton, was it Burton in Origin?
Him and Gaga got into like a bit of a...
Yeah, I remember that. So that's what it was. Nothing happened at Belmore. Like, nothing was... There's nothing, no Bulldogs rivalry with... Okay, no worries, I get it. I love it, bro. It was mad. It was good banter. But I felt a bit bad because, I watched Tino's interview when he was talking about his injury and stuff. I felt so bad, bro. Like,
just watching him, even like his confidence looked low until he scored that try. Like, he just wasn't the same.
He's my biggest fear in him and Fafita.
Which they started on the bench, by the way.
I
like
don't understand,
it was
bro.
35 minutes in, and he wasn't on the field. I was just like, what are they doing?
What's the point?
What are
of
the
it?
Titans doing?
I don't know. Again, I think I've read something. Feel like likes to play off the bench, but that impact player.
Yeah, but who cares what you like, bro? You're a freaking $1 million player.
Not only that, he was like one of the top 2 props of second rows. Yeah, one of the top second rows.
He could go down as the
It was him and Liam Martin last year.
He could go down as him as being the best second row of all time.
Yeah.
Like, who can... Like,
other than Liam Martin.
physicality, like, the game's so quick. He's so quick. Like, everything matches up for him to be generational. But it's just disappointing that he plays for the Titans, bro. Yeah. Because I don't mind. I have no hatred to Titans fans, but I don't see them being serious ever. Like, even at the Roosters, when they played Roosters in the finals, and I don't know who it was. They nearly won it. And I was just like, this was your chance to break the mold, bro. Like, to actually go and do something, because the team was pretty decent. But Curran, Tracy, man, Connor Tracy, he has been unbelievable this year, bro. Like, to start off the season, he was the good last year. Any takes from you? I'm probably just being so biased right now. give me your takes on the Bulldogs.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, a stat came up. It was the most points you have ever scored in Belmore for like 30 or 40 years.
Yeah,
like,
we're never good
40
there.
points, and not only that, like, yeah, you guys before Burton got injured, you guys look like you look like the Panthers.
But we looked so good.
Honestly, it gave me reflections of watching my team last year in 2022. Just
a threat every set.
Exactly. Hard working.
That Marnie try where Kiko runs it. He then
Yeah.
Burton sees
Just
the
gasses through. I was saying that, bro. I had
Yeah.
mad. I was so happy with my seats, bro. I'm so sad that we only play one game there this year.
Yeah.
That's
What's
that-
the last game there
Yeah.
for like 3 or 4 years?
It's shattering, bro. I didn't even know that. You know that? I
Yeah.
was like, oh, mad. We're gonna play the Dolphins because I think it said the Dolphins on the website.
Yeah, no,
Maybe I read something wrong.
Fred messaged me and he was like, "Oh, are you coming to Belmore?" I was like,
No.
"No."
That's the last one.
He was like, "Oh, you should go." I was like, "Oh, like I'm working, otherwise I would." And he was like, "Yeah, it's the last one."
And you're like,
And I mean, looking at the crowd was insane as
As
well.
a
You guys put more of a crowd than we did against the Roosters, and
yeah.
that's just saying something. Like the crowd was,
But it's Belmore. Like Belmore is like a
Exactly.
sentimental place. So
well, yeah.
everyone is gonna go.
On the earlier point about Tracy, someone put out
Stats. Tell me stats. I'm gonna read them up because they can't hear you.
This is from his first 2 games to start the year. In 2 games, 2 tries,
2 tries. Connor Tracy. 2 games.
a try assist,
1 try assist.
2 line breaks,
2 line breaks. I think he should have more line breaks, but yeah,
a
that's still
line
good.
break assist,
Line break assist.
21 average runs taken, 7 tackle breaks,
Wow.
235 average meters gained across
Every
the
game.
games,
Oh, across, yeah.
0 errors. No errors.
Can I just-
Mr. Reliable.
Can I
Yeah.
just say, for someone that wasn't meant to be the fullback and the utility, you know, like it's insane how like good the Bulldogs have come and just putting like Connor Tracy, you know, he wasn't always meant to be the fullback.
No.
But
Now, like, I think everyone will look at him as just like a reliable fullback. But you remember that there was games last year on the edge with Crichton where he carved up and caused problems, bro, attacking wise. We give praise to Reece Walsh when he does it. So let's give praise to Connor Tracy.
and I think that's the difference. I think people don't see him as a fullback, so they don't
look
give
at
him the
as more
praise that he
like
deserves.
Even Cronulla probably is shaking their heads now, bro.
Yeah.
Like, far out. We let this guy go. We should have kept him. He looks different. He looks more fit. Yada, yada, yada. So Burton's injured. That I watched it right in front of me, bro. It was sad. It was so awkward. It gave me like reminders of hectic Fred at the charity match. I was telling you this off camera. I was so like, bro, are you serious? Like, it didn't need to happen. That's what, you know,
Yeah.
those moments where like, you know, sometimes in the tackle, you don't say it, you're like, all right, I get it, that thing. It did not need to happen. And it's going to be a big loss for us. I'm praying that it's 2-3 weeks. I think they've confirmed that as an MCL strain.
I've heard
Ligament.
MCL 4 weeks.
This was from Phil Gould earlier today.
He's in rehab and stuff, yeah? I read it.
It's a low-grade MCL injury, and they're usually 1 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I think he'll be back 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'd give him 3 weeks, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
again, we play Parramatta, then Sharks, then Newcastle, then the bye. So he'll come back round 7.
Yeah, that's pretty, like, that's not bad. I don't mind that.
And not only, I mean, we'll get to the tips and get to the future, but I don't think it's going to be a huge loss. Who do you reckon replaces him? Because I've been
Honestly,
hearing Drew Hutchinson and then Kurt
Nah,
Mann.
I wouldn't
maybe.
go with Drew Hutchinson. I don't think I think he ruins the shape of the Bulldogs in attack. Defensively, he's a machine. Like, it's Drew Hutchinson, bro. He knows how to tackle. He knows how to hit. But I think in attack, Sexton will look so lost with Hutchinson there. I feel like we should just go Haywood, man.
Yep.
Like Bailey Haywood, Kurt Mann. These are the reasons why we bought utilities to play them in their roles. Yesterday was a bit shattering for me because Burton went off and Crichton ended up at 6. And they scored 2 tries off that side because Preston can't defend an outside. Like, it's harder as a second rower than a centre
Yeah.
to defend that guy. And Titans have some quick backs, bro.
Parra,
Oh, yeah.
they've done that side.
Yeah, like, they have even that what's his name?
He's got a double.
That smaller guy.
Sami, Fafita, which one?
Jojo Fafita scored as well.
That's
Kiana Kinney.
Kiana Kinney.
Kinney as well,
Bro,
yeah.
it's like little machines just carving up the edges, which was very, very
Like on paper, the Titans have a solid team, especially in that forward pack. But like, just it's the same with the Tigers.
Campbell looked good too, man. Brimson looked good. Like, they did pick up a bit in the game. They were
Yeah.
a bit of a threat. I just feel like we were very, very, very dominant.
Yeah.
I don't know why Critter was at 5'8". Both my managers today, my Liverpool manager Arnie Slot, horrendous today, and yesterday Sorreldo bad decision. He said as soon as he changed it, it was all good, man.
Look, I think it's your fault. I
Why?
think it's your and Fred's fault.
Yeah, why?
Because you wish that Critter would
kick?
become your kicker.
Yeah, it
and
doesn't mean
now he's your
it-
kicker.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to be a 6.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to be a 6.
He got rid of Burton and put him there.
Put him there. I have a question for you just before we move on to the Penrith game, because that's the game that you're going to be speaking about a lot. Do you think we'll struggle a lot? And who do you think replaces Burton? Like, your opinion?
I think Kurt Mann, just because he's more in the squad, he's already in the squad a bit more. I think, look, what was it? I think you'll struggle against Sharks. I think Sharks will dominate, especially because you lose.
We got him next? No, we got
No, you got Parramatta, them, and then the Knights, I believe. So,
2 out of 3 games we can win easy.
yeah, I
don't think easy, but I think...
I don't think easy. That's the thing. I think Parramatta, after 2 devastating games,
Rivalry
they
match.
got to be up for it. They got to be up
too.
at Combank, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like they got no more spirit, man.
Yeah.
When I watch them, I'm not even like being a hater right now. I just feel like it's like they don't want to be there. None of them want to be there.
No.
Zero.
No.
And it's sad, bro.
Like, as you said, Bulldogs have more...
We'll talk about it soon.
Bulldogs, I think this, you can say you were at the ground, but even watching on TV, the spirit was ripped out as soon as Burton got injured.
It was dead.
It was dead quiet. You could hear it. You could hear the crowd and the energy on the TV. I was like, Jesus Christ! I'd love to. I wish I was there.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he got injured, it was not the same for the rest of the game.
Well, it was a pin drop. It's actually very, very worrying, bro.
Yeah.
I looked around. Everyone was on their phone scrolling, trying to see what was going on.
I messaged Fred straight away. I was like, Fred, it's an MCL, bro.
Some people were convinced it was ACL. Some people thought...
Nah, I knew it wasn't ACL because
He walked. He
because
walked
was
off.
in pain. You know when I say I don't know why it's weird, but when I say someone
When they're in pain, it's better than when they're not in pain.
when they're not in pain, it's a scary sight because it's a false alarm, and that's an ACL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
So-
it's like a full rip, a full tear.
yeah, full tear is like shocking, bro. That's
But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I think your momentum has slowed now because now you're changing up the halves pairing for a few weeks. Now it's going to be a different type of team.
And then on top of that, I don't think we mentioned enough,
Kick out as well.
It's a
I
big
was
loss,
gonna
bro.
move on to
I
that.
say
That's a big
with
loss.
backs, I don't mind because and he's so good at defense kicks, but Tuipulotu just slots in now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we'll just have a big boy from first grade.
But I gotta say, Kick out, please get your blonde hair back. I couldn't.
Yeah, I
was
couldn't
like,
tell. I couldn't
where
tell
is
when
he?
he was. Wallah.
Is that Kick
You're
out?
actually right. That's a very good point.
He's got to get his blonde hair back, man. I miss it.
I had one more thing to say, and I forgot what it was, to be honest. So, yeah, we're just going to move on because I forgot and I'm hungry. Penrith Panthers. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Can we skip?
Now, first and foremost, this game from the Roosters is a fluke. You can't convince me that they will do this again. You can't make me write them off right off their heart because the Roosters always have big heart to me. They always have big passion, big heart. They play to the end. But Penrith Panthers, it looked like someone was just controlling that game to be a big upset, and that's what it turned out to be. Now I was watching Cleary trying to pull strings. Everyone's dropping the ball. Nobody from Penrith wanted to hold the ball anymore. It got to a point where you just were getting back in the game, and this is my thing with Penrith. They could be that bad, that much errors, and in the end, still, if you score one more try, it's game on, bro.
Well, I was sitting in the stands, and because I was watching that game, obviously I was there, and the thing that kept flashing in my mind was that Parramatta Panthers game last year where we were down 3 tries, and in 9 minutes we scored and we won the game, and it was insane. But yeah, it was just so deflating to watch. Everything that we were trying to do wasn't working. Bizarre of all people, just he had no confidence. He was playing a lot center role, in Parramatta, it looks like they don't have a winger because their wing is playing center. That's what it looked like
they
for
all
Bizza.
come in very, very tight.
Exactly, they were in very tight. It's like Bizza didn't trust his inside man a lot more, and that was the same. That's the strong side. That's
where you
Cleary,
get it up.
Liam Martin, Targo, and then Bizza, and it just felt like that side had to keep moving in because whether or not it was trying to cover for no Luai or trying to cover a lot more of the right side because the left side's the strongest, obviously, or business side's the strongest, and you're trying to cover that side more than the Jack Cole side, and you're trying to cover what used to be there.
Is this the end?
No. As you said, this game is a
Flaxy, listen, I want to ask you a simple question.
it was a fluke, right?
Okay.
I
said that, but I'm asking you, do you feel like there's a bit of loss of confidence? The self-esteem's lowered.
Absolutely.
The boys have to dig deep because there's more pressure. When you win 4 in a row, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But when you win, the pressure mounts, bro.
Look, we're 2 weeks into the season. You don't win premierships in March. That's what I'm going to say. And the fact that everyone was glazing the top. Let's just go rewind a week. Oh my God, it's Manly, Broncos, Panthers, and Melbourne Storm. They're the top 4. We can end the comp. Manly, Panthers, and Broncos lost.
Guilty. Bro, and I did keep saying last week, it's the first round. Like, we don't know.
You also said chooks are cooked.
Yeah, I think they're still cooked.
I think they're still cooked.
There's nothing.
And as I said, after Broncos week 1, I think that it's a red herring. You know, like it's the Roosters. You know, but to go back to the Panthers, pretty much, I don't think we're done. Where Luai, out of everyone, is the biggest loss. I didn't actually feel like we felt a big loss in the forwards with the loss of Fisher Harris. I actually felt like we were doing pretty well in the forward pack. Where our biggest loss is.
That's why, man. The system's so good for Penrith.
It's so good. And I said that at this point, it's fitness. We are one of the fittest teams in the comp, and we look like we were one of the worst fit. Like, we weren't fit at all. Like,
he's not living up to the name, bro.
Like, Casey McLean, man. Like, I love that man. Everyone gave him so much crap in this game, but he looked out of it. And obviously, it was a very hot day. But even then, it was a very hot, dry day, and we were slipping all over the field. Like, the field was there.
It didn't feel... I'm telling you, like, your errors were, like...
Not Penrith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
any team can make errors, right?
Exactly.
But not every team can make errors and then lose confidence from making those errors. That's what it looked like.
And that's exactly right. We lost our confidence. And the one thing why I say that we're not done, we're not over, because look what we did in the last 20 minutes of that game. We switched on too late. We switched on too late. Maybe 15, 10 minutes.
The good sign is you switched on.
We switched on.
There's a switch that can be turned on.
There's a switch that can be turned on. We just needed to turn it on a bit earlier. And even then, it was just the fact that he dropped the ball on the sideline.
Yeah.
Like, Bizza had that in the last 10 seconds, and unfortunately...
I was saying that, but I was like, yeah.
But I was like, no way. I was like, we're about to repeat history. This is going to be great. And yeah, it sucked. But I think the loss of Luai is just... It's our biggest loss. Critter, not like...
What about your home ground?
I was disappointed.
Is that a loss? Like, tell me about the fans, because Fred said this a couple of weeks ago, like, Penrith fans won grand finals. Like, yeah, they did celebrate, but we're not bragging or anything, but I don't think anyone comes close to Bulldogs fans.
No.
They are a bit special in the head. You know
we got out-chanted. We got out-chanted by the Roosters.
Oh, my God.
Hainsey
was on a field day. Hainsey was loving it.
Hainsey, Luke, like all the boys, like that drum echoed louder than any of the Panthers fans. And where was it at? CommBank? It was at CommBank. We had 12,000 there. 12.
Yeah.
That, like, yes, it's not our first game, but it's our first game back, A, in Australia, and B, in a new stadium. You need your fans, Panthers fans, please, come out to the games. Like, I know everyone's saying, Parramatta's so far from Penrith. It's one train line. It's one train.
I don't think Parramatta's far from Penrith.
It's not that far.
It's like 25 minutes, bro. It's like me going to a Bulldogs game.
Exactly.
I'm further, bro. I live in Liverpool. You got to go to Homebush. You know what I mean?
Like, come out to the games. Support the team. Be loud. Be proud. Like, we have won 4 in a row.
Yeah, enjoy it, man.
This is a new year. Anything can happen. I think that we're still, like, we're paying $3.30 favourites.
To win the comp?
No, against Melbourne next week. I think that is a value. Like,
where are you playing him at?
Melbourne.
It's Melbourne and Melbourne.
But Melbourne are coming off the week off, and we're coming off our worst.
Melbourne didn't play this week, yeah?
No, they didn't. They had a bye.
I'm saying who was missing this week.
So, tell me this. You're Melbourne, right? You've just beat Parramatta. Look. 50 point, like, yes, they were dominant. That, and also they're very dominant. Like, that's something, like, Broncos beating Roosters and Melbourne beating Parra, 2 very different games.
Yeah, 100%.
2 very different games. But to say Penrith, this was our worst loss.
Yeah,
this was our worst loss in 5 years.
You just kept getting points on you, points, and then you just did the catch-up thing at the end.
Yeah.
Which is not good, man.
This was our worst loss in 5 years. you're telling me that we're not going to show up for a grand final rematch, and after a loss like that, I'm just telling you.
I think he will show up, and I
this
think
is
it's gonna
going to be a
very good game.
strong game.
It's going to be an exciting game, bro, because
It's going to be a game of the game.
oh, thank God, bro. We actually have a good Thursday night game.
Exactly.
We're talking about Thursday night games. We have to move on, Flaxy. Newcastle Knights and the Dolphins. I just want to talk about Kalen Ponga because, wallah, when I watch this guy play, and I said this in his first year or his second year. Remember, like his second year at Newcastle, they just threw this big money at him, or was it the first year? I can't remember.
They threw a lot of money at him, and I was like,
And they tried to play him at 6.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't see this guy in big moments. Like when the team needs him, out of 6 times, he's there like 1.3 times. You know what I mean? Like I'm just being like, but I need to see him step up. But the past couple of years, the last 2 years, he's been that guy. Like I'm him. You know what I mean? Like I'm playing at a Newcastle team that doesn't have all the resources, doesn't have a. There's no like crazy.
He's playing like the number 1 guy.
Yeah, and he is the number 1 guy. So when Dylan Brown comes in, if he doesn't leave, right? Because there's a possibility he might
There's
leave.
a lot of smoke behind that.
A lot of smoke behind that. I don't think he'll stay at Newcastle. Let's be real. If Bondi's calling you, you're gonna go to the chooks. You know what I mean? But I just look at him and Dylan Brown. If they can, because they're slick, bro. Like Dylan Brown's slick. Kalen Ponga can take some pressure off. They get a decent 7. I think they'll be right. They'll form something. But I just,
I'm thinking they want to play him at 7.
who?
Dylan Brown.
Yeah, that's
I don't.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over again. It's that coach. It's that board. I don't know what you're trying to do. Play a fullback at 6 and a 6 at 7.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. If you're gonna give the guy big money, get your value out of him. What he's good at. Like it's trusted that he's gonna be good at 6. You freaking bring him in as a 6.
You bring him in as a 6,
and get rid of all those 6s and 7s that you have in the thing, bro.
And
Who's
this-
that young guy that they play now? Chase or
Fletcher Sharp.
Fletcher Sharp? He's pretty good.
Yeah,
he's a
he's
6,
great.
yeah? He's a 6, or is it?
He's normally like.
He's a 1 and a 6. He can play.
He was fullback. They put him on the wing. Now he's at 5'8". This guy's like playing everywhere.
No,
Yeah.
he's not.
And-
a 7.
and this
you
is-
can't be a 7 at that. I don't see it. Like you can't be a really good 7 in this game, in this day and age. At that age, right now, playing all those positions. But I don't know, bro. Let's see. We're still waiting for Blaze, bro, to see Blaze.
Mate, Blaze Salungi, mate. well, I think he's still injured. That's the thing. I think he had the same injury as Nathan. He had the
He'll be out a few more
pec.
weeks.
So, yeah, he'll be here soon, and hopefully he comes out with the Knights though. Yeah, I think it's gonna. They have to play him at 6 and find something better than Jack Cogger because, yeah, they're losing.
Jack Cogger's bad, bro. I don't think he's bad.
But even then, they're losing forwards. Like they're losing Leo Thompson next year. Like
One of the Saifiri boys already left. Like they don't have Clemmer anymore. I don't know why I just thought of Clemmer, but Clemmer hasn't been in ages. But look at their pack. They have that Kai
Pierce Paul, who's
Paul
like,
Pierce, whatever. He's a good player, bro.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be alright. I can't wait to have Leo Thompson at the Dogs, to be honest.
but just quietly,
Dolphins,
wooden spinners.
Any hate? Listen, we actually wrote down in the segment.
Look, I would like
I
to
read it to use other Dolphins spoon contenders. Fred, please hate Rand.
Hey, Rand, max 5 minutes.
because Fred hates the Dolphins, and I just think like I said this. Wallah, I said this 2 years ago, whatever. Last year they were exciting. Have they been in the comp 1 year or 2 years?
2 years.
So
This is their third year. Yeah.
Okay, it's exciting at the beginning. Players are gonna go there, but that's about it.
Well,
Nothing's gonna happen. There is not enough talent, right? And
They
look,
had Wayne Bennett. They had something.
that's why they had Wayne Bennett, just to get people believing the catfish. It was the catfish. Like, hey, Bennett's coaching.
Hey, baby, I love you. I'll take care of you.
Like, all right, I'll go to Rabbitohs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just look at it and I'm like, it's not enough talent, bro, in the game. Wallah, there isn't. And especially, like, there is a lot of young talent, but young talent doesn't mean you can play full 80 minutes and control games and win games. You know what I mean? You've seen the Bulldogs when they had Alamori. Look where he is now. After a few years of developing, he's a superstar center.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I said. So the Dolphins do deserve the spoon to me. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at Cowboys, and I'm looking at the Dragons.
I'm looking at the Cowboys.
I'm not looking at the Dragons, to be honest. 'Cause I feel like the Dragons have a bit of bite in them. But you just want to speak about the Dragons game. Actually, you know what? Before we get into that, I want to speak about the Warriors Manly game because crazy underdog, crazy upset. No one's saying the Wars winning this, and I said the same thing. This win was a fluke. This was just a home win under the bright lights in New Zealand. The fans were absolutely loving it. They're loud. Yeah, that proper retirement for Tohu Harris. A very, very good point. They weren't going to lose that game, bro. But still thought they were gonna lose. I thought mainly we're just gonna romp them, bro. I thought DC, Tommy were gonna look good. Anything you want to take away from that game other than the injuries?
I didn't watch that game too much because I was on my way to the Panthers game. But yeah, it's like
The injuries, man.
it's so sad to see so early. Like I'd love to just see a year where there's minimal injuries, no injuries, just to see what
happens.
What
with
happens?
everyone.
Like who is the strongest team? And it's just sad to see. But man, I don't.
Because Manly looked like they were playing something.
I was gonna say, is it a more worrisome of Manly, or is it just
Manly? Yeah.
yeah? Was it Manly played bad, or was it?
I feel like
Warriors played.
I feel like
better?
Warriors played better, but at the same time, like Manly were. You just get caught up in it, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I feel
In
like.
the first half, I think Turbo had 5 errors in the first half.
Who?
Tommy Turbo.
Yeah, it was one of those Dragons games. That Dragons game.
He scored that match, right?
And that's it.
First couple of minutes, and then just throwing horrible passes.
Yeah.
Two of them must be-
It's just, I think it was a multi thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like Tommy, I don't know why this ends up happening. Nah, as a joke, but in all seriousness, like now Manly don't have Tommy and DCE. I think DCE will play.
Well, they're saying they're both kind of 50-50.
No, I don't think Tommy will play this week. Let's be real, bro. It's hamstring.
Well, I mean, I'm
They're not
so,
going to risk it round 3.
Yeah.
Just let him rest.
so for me, I think like especially Manly now because Manly has sort of built. I don't think they have to rely too much more on Turbo as they used to.
So they can rest him a bit more now.
So they can rest him a bit more and not worry about losing.
Yeah.
But losing DCE, like
That's the biggest thing for me, bro.
Who would have been their replacement? Jamie Humphreys. But
They got rid of him, huh?
they got rid of him. And now look at him now.
Was he at Manly?
yeah, is that Rabbitohs now, isn't he?
He's he's one of my actual like I want to speak about the Rabbitohs game just for that reason.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite players to watch because like we'll speak about him, but Metcalf looked good.
Metcalf
people were shitting on him
carved
in the
up.
first week.
Metcalf, not Metcalf. Metcalf. He just carved
He
up.
carved them up.
He
lad.
carved them up,
Go
bro.
for some.
Celebration after he scored the.
What did he do? Yeah. Hey, you know what? The Warriors like home crowd with the player, like when they're doing good and the players are scoring. I love it all. It's
You
a
know, I'd
good
love
vibe.
to see a grand final. Warriors versus Dogs, because that crowd would just be insane.
Cause there will be drummers.
That'd be so.
Who the drummers will be? Who's gonna dance more on that?
But you'd have to worry about the stability of the building.
Bro, that'll be crazy if the Bulldogs played the Wires in the grand final.
Oh, that'd
Like,
be insane.
I think that'll be the only grand final. Like, if we lose, I'm still shattered. I'm always going to be shattered. If we lose, I'm like, fair play.
Fair play.
Yeah, like anyone else, like Rabbitohs,
Because they haven't won a grand final.
I
They've
hate
been in
Rabbitohs
one.
to this day. Like, Wallah to this day. Because of that Greg Inglis Gowana shit that he did. It burns my soul. Because, and then the Melbourne game that I actually went to that grand final, we lost. Burns my life. Because we did play good in both games, you know what I mean? But you just get outplayed by the better team. Manly players pushing Warriors fan. I seen what happened.
Oh, yeah. a
That
little
Chan-
bit of a-
Gordon, Chan Compton, like him, I think a Warriors fan was like having a go at Jake Travojevic when we got sent to the bin. He thought he was going to be some hero and stand up to him. He looked like an idiot. He was like sizing up with the fan. And like I think like a security guard, someone had to get in the middle of them.
You have to remember they're humans as well, bro. Like, you have to, like the players are human, and he's got to take responsibility for his actions. But, bro, imagine like you're in a heat of a moment, you're losing a game, you're not meant to lose.
And it was funny, he wasn't even playing.
And it wasn't, yeah? Yeah, of course, I know that because of my super coach, brother. I've got him. I'm like, bro, can you play already? Because I need a hooker to do something. But nah, look, you can't be doing that, man. And that's the thing, that's the nature, that's the reason why they make this money and they're on this pedestal. And I don't agree with fans being rude or anything, but you got to be able to control that. Can Manly survive without Turbo and DCE? Honestly,
Without Turbo, yeah. DC, nah.
yeah, I look at
Colour.
DCE as the rock.
Look-
But even look at Tommy. It's very hard for them, wallah. Because Manly
They lose the defense on the back, and they lose
Manly
that
are a
speed.
side that just go at you, bro.
Yeah.
If they score 1, they're scoring 4. You know what I mean? They don't just beat you nitty gritty. Like, they can, obviously. But that's when it's scary, because that's when you don't want to play them, when Tommy's open
I feel like
and
they're
Garrick and...
I feel like their attack suffers a lot more. Like,
Yeah.
as you said, they just go at you. But if there's no Turbo, then it's like not as much as a threat.
It's more of like a lackluster game where they just try to win the game by 2, 4, 6, 8.
Exactly.
They got a very handy fullback. They literally got the Tongan fullback and Leo Apolati.
Yeah, he's good,
So
bro.
it's a good replacement.
He's good, man. I think they'll be alright. I think they'll be out of the 8 max, like in the next couple of weeks if both of them don't play. But I think DC comes back, they'll be alright, bro.
There was none of his back spasms, so probably like maybe.
They got Raiders. They could lose that game.
The Raiders, bro. Let's
And then they got the Eels. So
Dragons and
yeah.
yeah, Dragons and Selfs.
I didn't watch this game, but
Tuipulotu.
from watching.
Well, one sec. Let me cook. Let me cook. I'm hungry, so the oven's got to get used. What's wrong with you, brother? Look at me, please. Look at me. Come here. Come. Habibi, come sit with me. Therapy session. We're at AJB HQ. I'm wearing the shirt. Upstairs there's a podcast room if you want to hire it. But today we're not hiring it. Today we're giving you a therapy session. My brother. Against the Bulldogs, you were down 18 points. I don't even know what it is. I don't even care, right? It doesn't bother me. And you celebrated. Now, if you're celebrating because it's your first try in NRL, I completely understand. I will clap for you. Well done, right? You were losing the game. You've been playing NRL for quite a bit now. And it wasn't your debut for anything. It wasn't anything of anything. Like, it was just a game. And you celebrated about 14 times. My brother, we all gave it to you. We roasted you. I think you scored a hat-trick. Congratulations. On the hat-trick, celebrate. I'll celebrate for you because scoring a hat-trick in rugby league is not easy. But let's move on. Round 2. This week. You play the Rabbitohs. You're winning the game, but you're just celebrating too much, bruv. Listen, celebrate after you win the game. I think that's the best way to go about it. And I'm not the type to like cut this shit out from players, right? But it really pissed me off at the Bulldogs game because it didn't make any sense to me. You know what? I would rather you the Greg Inglis Koana I told you, like fair play. Like fair play. It's a grand final. Even if it's a normal game, you won the game. You know what I mean? There's a point to it. But if you're losing by 18, 20, whatever it is, come on, brother. Pack it up. Now, that celebration, I hope you celebrate more because I just want to see the Dragons keep losing. Shout out to Chris. I love your videos, man. They make me laugh. Bro.
I was gonna say, I watched this video. I didn't watch that game, but like from my
You knew what happened.
Did he kick to the left instead of going for a field goal? Yeah. Because I watched that and I was like, Chris is explaining what happened at the end of the game. I was like, if this actually happened, then I feel bad for him as a fan.
I wish we had Chris on today.
I saw his TikTok and he was like, you don't kick here, you kick here.
Even the goal kick was bad, yeah? Because I turned the TV on at one point and Valentine Holmes just hooked it.
Holmes, if we just he missed 3 kicks, that's 6 points. They could have won the game if he just couldn't hurt.
I remember this was, we used to blame Lomax for that. Remember when Lomax didn't want to play under Griffin?
I've made a video.
Now he's kicking for Parra and they wouldn't spin us. Happy days. Boys, the Dragons choked. Flanagan's losing it. Flanagan lost it in the presser, and I love it. I love to see a coach go hard on his players, bro. Just absolutely pumping them. Whatever they need to do, they need to do.
He did have to call Ilias afterwards. I think a journalist asked him about Ilias, and he's like made a snide remark about him.
Yeah.
He had to call him afterwards and apologize because like he's pretty much embarrassed him in front of everyone.
Yeah, he did say something as well. Like you wouldn't want to be a player under me this week. Like. And bro, like I've been hearing this shit since last season. Like, what's gonna change? What's gonna happen? Is there gonna be pressure on Flanagan? I don't think there will ever will be because there's not many good coaches. But what's the problem, Dragons fans? I want you to comment. We're not gonna discuss this. I want you to comment because I want to talk about Humphreys because he's unbelievable. Comment what you think is wrong with the Dragons because he's went and got seasoned veterans. He's got Valentine Holmes, premiership winner. You got Damien Cook. I don't think he's a premiership winner, but experienced Origin winner, 1, 2, 3. You only got Clint Gufferson, he's played in finals, he's played in Origin.
You know what's wrong with them? They're the retirement home. They're the Lakers of a few years ago, bro. Like,
Clemmer as well. There's 4
Clemmer,
in like their 30s.
Like the only shining bright light I see is freaking what's his name, Jaden Sawyer. Yeah, like I don't see.
Slane at times. Like,
Slane has a bit of it in him, but yeah, I don't know what could improve them. Next game, what's the next game?
Sharks and Cowboys.
Sharks and Cowboys. Actually, yeah, Humphreys, brother, I love you, bro. Listen, wallah, I love you. Yeah, you look unbelievable. Your hair's unbelievable. Bro, I've never seen a halfback that big in my life, cuz. Like, what are you eating, lad? What are you eating? Like, you said it to us, bro. I'm getting married in the ND, you know what I mean? Let me size up, you know what I'm saying? But hey, the way he took that field goal, like, I just want to speak about that before we move on. He was just like, I'm him. And there's no urgency from the Dragons. That's what pisses Chris off. That's what pisses Dragons fans off. No urgency, cuz. They were just staring. And just because they were staring doesn't mean it wasn't good. It was unbelievable, bro. Turned to his side, done a nice little field goal, flicked the hair, lad, won them the game.
And converted all of his kicks.
And converted all their kicks, which is something that Val Holmes cannot do. Cowboys, Sharks.
Man, Cowboys.
I actually have to go, boys. So if you want to jump on and take over this with Flaxy. Yeah, you know what? I want to do my... actually, I'll do them later. Look after my boys, yeah?
But I got to say, Sharks. Cowboys are wooden spooners.
Back again. Debut last week.
Yeah. Cowboys wooden spinners, bro.
Absolutely
they're wooden
woeful.
spinners. I had some sniff of a hope, and unfortunately for me, they're wooden spinners. That game was sad to watch.
They look terrible. And you know what? I haven't got it in the notes here. Sharks could have easily won by more. Like, they bombed a lot of their tries. Sharks could have easily have made this thing, 50.
Yeah.
But they bombed a lot of their tries. Like, did you watch this game?
I watched a very small amount of it.
I saw the majority of this game. And Sharks did look good at times, but I don't know. I feel like they needed to capitalize a bit better. They gave up a lot of possession and made a lot of errors. But you know what? They're still convincing, a dominant performance from the Sharks.
Yeah, nah. So, again, there's not much I have to say about that game. But, the Sharks are looking...
The real question is, can the Cowboys save their season? And how much longer does Payton have?
Payton.
Tom Payton.
Payton. Well, he's one of two. So him, Adam O'Brien are the only two, I think that are going to get fired this year. It'd be very surprising if any other coach gets fired. But Cowboys are bottom 4 this season. They lost too much, and when you're leaving it up to just Dearden and Scott Drinkwater, then
Now I want to have a bit of a rant because I was so baffled by this last week. Why on God's green earth would you decide to drop Jeremiah Nanai?
Oh my! Oh, you've just unlocked a memory.
All right, let me cook first, and you can cook next because I can't believe it. This guy is an Origin representative, an absolute dominant strike force, and also dropping him because he's not the best defensively. No one on that team was good defensively that game against Manly. You might as well drop the whole team. So then dropping him and then say, he needs to work on his defense. Do you know what? Do you know where Sharks scored most of their points? Where Nanai was. Yeah. So what now? Are you going to drop who was in Nanai's spot? Are you going to drop that whole edge now? No, because you need him. You need them. It makes no sense to me. Why would you remove the only good thing they have for them is their attack? They take away their attack, thinking. I don't even know who took his spot. I can't even remember who took his spot.
As I said, I didn't watch too much of the game, but
it clearly didn't do much of a job because. Nikora scored, I think, a try or two. Iro scored a couple of tries. Dominant from that side for the Sharks.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is that, man, as you said, he's a state representative. He's a gun. Why are you getting rid of... obviously, work on your defense. Good issue. We all got to have a good defense. But, man, he's one of the top 4 players, and that's being very, very, lenient saying top 4. He is one of your best players on your team. Why? I think it's a last-ditch effort. Honestly, I think Payton's just trying to find anything to work just so... But, again, I think they're my bottom 4. In my bottom 4, there's nothing that's going to change.
They already lost one second rower in Highland Lukey to an ACL.
Yeah.
Why would you get rid of your other main second rower? That means in the second row, John Bateman and Kaya O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to me.
Cowboys, you're bottom 4. Let's move on to the...
my opinion, probably the game of the
Raiders versus... Bro. I said this last week. I wasn't obviously here last week, but I said this. Broncos are not a top 4 team. And this proves it. Bro, they... I want to really get this out, but... Bro, the Broncos are they're just it was a flash in the pan moment last week. It's the Roosters. Obviously, a lot of people have Roosters in their bottom 4. It's like Panthers versus the Titans, or what happened this week with the what game was it? It's like the Dogs versus the Titans, right? You're gonna have a easy game. That's what that was for the Broncos. Broncos came out flying. Yes, they got lucky, but it was a fluke. It was a fluke of a game. And then I just want to say, you come into this week versus the Raiders who, again, I think they're in a fluke stage. I think they're in a sort of angry, Ricky has this thing every year. It goes for about 3, 4, 5 weeks where their team just kills it because they're angry about something. I think it's the travel distance this year that they're angry about.
No, I think they're angry about the critics this year.
He's angry about something. Ricky's angry about something. So they go good for about 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then you can only be angry for so long, Then they'll fall off. This is the period that the Raiders are in. And the Broncos... They had too much of a high horse last week after the Roosters. And what did they get? They got exposed.
Well, I actually got to disagree with you on this. I don't think... I think Broncos can't. I don't think top 4. Look, can they be top 4? 100%. They got the team for it, and now they got the coach. I still think they still got that mentality where every set they got to score a try and they got to spread the ball. Like Reece Walsh, you killed my super coach. He scored me 9 points. He had an absolute shocker. He disappeared that game. He had no flash, nothing but errors, drop balls, and just like an overall bad performance. Like that was probably one of his worst games he's ever had.
And that's the thing, you know, he's not consistent enough. He's too flashy can only get you so far. This is why last year I was talking about Dylan Edwards. He was the workhorse and everything. You can't flashiness gets you so
I
far.
realized we didn't talk about this. Dylan Edwards out for 3 weeks.
Don't get my emotions up. Dylan Edwards, I love you.
Speedy recovery.
Speedy
man.
recovery.
We need him in New South Wales.
Speedy fucking recovery. I gotta bleep that out. But yeah, pretty much Raiders. I think this is a flash in the pan. Who do they have for the next few weeks? They got
Broncos.
They got Manly. Manly could probably beat them, but that's going to be a tough game. They got the Cowboys. They'll win that one, and then they got the Sharks where they'll finally lose. So it's a flash in the pan. But the Broncos, I told you, they're not a top 4 team, and they're gonna get exposed like this a lot more often.
I disagree. I still think they have so much strike force in their team. Look, I think it was the fact that the Broncos were coming off such a high horse from last week because there was already so much talk that they could have been a top 4 team, and then had that performance against the Roosters. Again, everyone was...
It's the Roosters.
Some people were saying that, Broncos for the premiership already. Like, round 1, they were calling them for the premiership and give, Reynolds the Dally M.
Yeah.
Like, it's round 1 against a team that was so heavily under strength. Like, to me, I think people just need to pump the brakes. Then they went down to Canberra on a Saturday night where Ricky has just had that amazing game in Vegas. And Ricky's been his whole argument lately has been all the critics saying bottom 4, the spoon. And he's all about trying to prove them wrong. They all have a point to prove. And look, I originally thought it would have been Broncos 1-12. I didn't think they would dominate them. But the Raiders, mate, they just wanted it more. Matty Nicholson had an absolute fantastic debut. Scored 2 tries in the first half. Big Red. We've got to talk about Big Red. Corey Horsburgh, man. Bulldogs are legends. This guy had an absolute machine of a game. I was so impressed with him in this game.
I don't know. I think it's going to be... Again, you don't win premierships in March. This is round 2. You get a sort of feel of the game after about 5-6 weeks. So
now, my question is, you can't really answer it for me, but do you think there is still a possibility that the Raiders could be the shock or dark horse team of the year?
No. They're a flash in the pan. And I am going to be happy to not get proven wrong. So,
well, now we move on to a game you and I both would have enjoyed. The Tigers and Parramatta Eels. Tigers in an absolute attacking masterclass beat Parramatta.
It was no. You can't call a game where it takes 29 minutes to score a try an attacking masterclass. This game, this is what I said. This is what I said. When you have Panthers versus Melbourne, let's just say next week, right? And the game after 29 minutes is 0-0. That's a competitive game. 0-0 after 29 minutes. Tigers versus Parra in the Spoon Bowl rematch. This was not a competitive game. I wasn't even a fan of either of these teams, and it was so frustrating to watch. The drop balls, the missed passes, just the forward passes. It felt like I was watching an under-14s game.
I don't know if you could all tell. I was being very sarcastic with the attacking masterclass. This was not an attacking masterclass.
This was a terrible game of footy, and honestly, it burned my brain.
But the second half, I was filled with immense joy in the second half watching Tigers just they just scored points. Ruvo with a hat trick. That try with Galvin right before half time. That was honestly a good like piece of footy.
Look, the Tigers did show some class, especially in the second half, but like that's a game I just want to forget, man.
Look, Parramatta losing to the Tigers and conceding that one try towards the end was like a consolation try for Parramatta. It was still like anything. Whenever Parramatta lose, I'm a doggies fan. But that fills me with joy watching Parramatta lose.
See, I feel like you're a bit too biased.
I'll admit it. I'm biased on that. When Mitch Moses was out for 6 weeks, I said they're gonna go 0-6. I just don't have any faith in them. They look hopeless out there. They look lost.
They look, again,
They have no direction. Dylan Brown isn't the kind of player that can steer a team. He needs a halfback to get the ball rolling.
And I'll continue on with that. When your dummy half is the one yelling out the orders, like that is just not. There is something fundamentally wrong with Parramatta. Obviously, look, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I have them in my top 8. Right? So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because obviously the news with Dylan Brown coming out, like that was all...
That
like,
rattled them, you could tell.
And not rattled them, but it definitely like shook them, you know, like now it's like, oh, you know, like he's just playing this year, now he's going to go.
Especially when all the stuff I mentioned, Moses saying, oh, he wanted Brown to stay.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to mean something.
Exactly. Mitch Moses obviously out still. So yeah, the morale was low. They got pumped by 50. I thought that they, like, if watching the Parra-Melbourne game, in the second half, Parramatta came out and like played like it felt like they came out with some sense of urgency after the second half after they got spoken to. There was none of that. No. Honestly, I was like, okay, I could forgive this first half of footy. I could forgive the probably worst footy I've ever watched in my life. And I watched the Tigers versus Titans game a few years ago, where it was like 6 points to 4. That was a terrible game of football.
All penalty kicks. The one try was scored in the last minute.
Yeah, I've watched terrible games of footy. I could have forgiven that had Parramatta came out and competed in a good competitive second half.
Nothing.
There was nothing there, so it was very disappointing, and that was I think we should move on because a lot of people want to forget about that game. And Vossi said on the commentary, this will be a memorable moment. No, Vossi. This will not be a memorable moment. No. This will be something that everyone forgets or has already forgotten about because it was just that bad of a game.
It was a bad game. But I was at Belmore by that point. I was just literally just all us doggies fans were just watching it off our phones. Anytime Tigers did anything, we were laughing at Parramatta. We didn't care. We were we were delirious by that point, just cheering on Tigers beating Parramatta.
Yeah, so I think that's all the games. We obviously covered the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you and Suey covered Belmore. I'll give maybe, a minute of my thoughts. It was just an amazing game. Like, I love Belmore. To me, it's an experience unlike anything else. So watching the Dogs play Belmore for what could be the last time for a few years, that means a lot. And when Tracy scored that last try in the last couple of minutes, Belmore went delirious. We went berserk. That was amazing. To me, we sent off Belmore on a high note. Farewell, Belmore. Doggies, we got to now back it up next week. We got a lot riding on us. Speaking of which, we should get into our tips forward next week.
So obviously the Panthers. Now that Suey, like obviously, I kind of got the reins and the keys. This is going to be a Penrith podcast. I'm kidding. Sorry, but no.
Not while I'm here.
Penrith versus Storm. Obviously, look, we're paying $3.30. Obviously, Storm are heavy favourites. Look, they put on a big scoring against a team that is struggling. They put on a top one, like a premiership performance against the Wooden Spooners. That's how I looked at this. That's how I looked at a majority of the games that happened over the past week. Penrith have come off the worst loss in 5 years. They have obviously Dylan Edwards is injured. I forgot about that. But Blaze Talangi could be back. We obviously don't have the team list. Look, Jack Cole, I like him. I don't think we should make any real too big changes to the team. But the boys have copped it this week. You know they're going to cop it in training this week. You know that they're going to be pissed. I'm never going to tip against my boys. I'm going to go Penrith 1-12, but this is a 1-12 game, and I think this is going to be one of the best games of footy. Thank God we can put this game over the Tigers Parramatta game because this game is going to be the game of football, and it's going to be it's going to be a great starter to opening round 3.
Like the game last week between Panthers and Roosters, a lot of people are arguing it could be one of the games of the year. This has got game of the year written all over it. I'm going to the picture for both teams. Melbourne, coming off a grand final loss to a team where they were actually the favourites to win that game. Yeah. They then put on a dominant performance against the potential Wooden Spooners. They then have the bye, and let's be honest, their mentality has probably been on this game. You don't think Craig Bellamy has been in that sheds these last couple of weeks, grilling into these boys? We're going up against the Panthers in Melbourne on our home ground after losing the grand final. I think this has got... And then obviously up until that Panthers game, I thought Melbourne probably were going to win. If Panthers had beat the Roosters, that's 2 wins for Panthers. Melbourne would have probably won this game, in my opinion. I do think Penrith, though, after you make excellent points, worst loss they've had in 5 years, the most amount of points they've conceded in like 5 years.
Well, we've conceded. This was the 7th time since 2020 that we conceded over 30 points.
Exactly. So, a lot went wrong for you guys that game. But again, I just Melbourne and no Edwards. He is the most reliable fullback. He always gets the job done. He may have like a couple of dodgy passes every once in a while, but they're very rare. He gets the hard work done. I think without him, I just don't know. Especially when you got like Pappenhausen, Hughes, Munster, Harry Grant, who have had a full week of rest. I'm back in Melbourne 1-12 here. I'm happy to be wrong and Penrith win, but I'm just thinking Melbourne, I think 1-12. This could easily go down to like a golden point sort of thing, or even like a 4-point margin.
All I'm going to say is expected to be a great game of footy.
Oh yeah,
so it's going to be very.
This is the best Thursday night football match we're going to get this year.
All right, next we got the Friday night games. We got Warriors versus Roosters. This game, Go Media Stadium. I think, as I said, Roosters, like that game is not really something to look at, but it obviously shows a bit of I think it showed more how bad Penrith were that day. I think the Warriors win. It's at home. Roosters got to travel, and Warriors, the crowd's just insane. Like they're gonna back up that win. As much as I do think Roosters are gonna be a better team this year, I think Warriors have their number. What do you think?
You know what? This is one of the harder games to tip. I'm gonna be honest because I can see pros and cons for both these teams. Both of them had great wins last week when they were these two were the biggest underdogs from last week that got their wins.
Yeah.
So it's hard to assess. Like Luke Metcalf could carve up through the middle, but at the same time, look at Roosters, Dom Young, Tupo, Teddy. Those boys alone, Connor Watson, a dummy.
He had a really good game.
He had a great game.
He had a really good game.
Right, you got your number at one point. Honestly, they were scoring tries. He was probably their player of the match.
Yeah, so,
but I want to look. It's the Warriors in New Zealand, but the Roosters have a very good record against the Warriors.
We had a great record against the Roosters.
That was the big thing of the hoodoo.
Well, there was two things just very, very quickly. There was two things on that one. It was Panthers had won their 9 out of the last 10 games against them, and also every time Brian Toller had scored a try over the past 44 games, Panthers had won and we lost. So, yeah. So I got Warriors 1-12 on this one.
Yeah, same here. I got Warriors 1-12, but again, Roosters could easily upset this game, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Now, after all I did say about the Broncos, they got the Cowboys at Suncorp. Broncos. I think Cowboys are bottom 4 wooden spoon contenders, so this is 13 plus Broncos for me.
I think, especially after that performance, you don't think Madge would have not popped a blood vessel and has these boys puking at training. He would have put these boys under the thumb. He would have lost it because, again, he was losing his shit with the Tigers. Can you imagine him with this team and that performance? Mate, get ready for a Reece Walsh comeback. I might captain him this week on my Supercoach potentially. I think Broncos are in for a big game. I'm going Broncos 13 plus. This can get ugly really quickly.
Sharks vs Rabbitohs on the Saturday night game. The Sharks have been pretty good this year. The Sharks 13 plus for me. They lost to the Panthers and they've looked good ever since. Rabbitohs, I think they got really lucky. But they did look good. But you know what? Yeah, Sharks 13 plus. I think Sharks are just the better team and they're going to be. I think it's their first home game this year too. So.
Yeah, look, the last couple of games for Souths have been very close, fluky sort of games. Like they versus the Dolphins at CommBank with all the cyclone chaos. Then they versus the Dragons who choked it, and realistically, they probably should not have won that game.
Yeah.
I'm going Sharks. I want to say 13 plus, but I don't know why. I think Bennett. I will go Sharks 13 plus actually, but if it's 1-12, that wouldn't shock me too much.
Now, where you said that the Warriors Roosters game, this is my hardest tip for the week. Dolphins versus Tigers. I think the Tigers win this game.
Yeah, same here.
Tigers 1-12. If they play like they did in the first 29 minutes of that first game, Dolphins should win. But I think the more they play together, the more they're going to be great. And the more Lockie Galvin and Luai will play off each other. And if Luai plays another 11 hours of League of Legends before the game, well, it's at KO, so maybe not. But yeah, I think Tigers 1-12, even though they're actually currently underdogs.
They are currently, but it's the Tigers. They're always going to be underdogs unless they're versing like literally a team that's.
This
dead
is a
last.
team that we all think that are going to be wooden spinners.
I think they'll be bottom
if
four.
they're underdogs here, that is insane. They were favourites actually for last week's game.
Well, you got to remember as well, the Tigers. People had a lot of expectations for them going into this year, and then they had a very disappointing performance, in my opinion, round 1. Then they had a big bounce back round 2. I think they're going to keep that momentum going. I think, I'm really high on the Tigers as well. Do I think they're going to be as high as a lot of people think? No, but I think they're still going to be better. And Dolphins, considering all their strike power with Herbie Farnworth, Avarillo, The Hammer, Asako, Isaiah Katoa, who could be one of the greatest halfbacks in a few years, they look lost. Their fitness they look so unfit, and they look so complacent that even Christian Wolf fell asleep in the coach's box during the game.
No, he didn't fall asleep. He was
camera
looking down at his notes.
It looked like he fell asleep. In my opinion, he looked like he fell asleep.
So
Wouldn't blame him. But I'm going Tigers 1-12. But the Dolphins win this again. All these games after last week, I don't know what to expect anymore because I was.
yeah, I mean,
tipping last
I
week.
thought it was going to be this week of tipping, and it ended up being very
Right, but I'll go Tigers 1-12.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that should be good.
Yeah, after last week's tipping, I just don't know what to think.
Another
anymore.
hard game to tip next.
No, not at all. Titans versus Knights. Titans got lucky because of the injury of Matt Burton. They came back because of that. They had a bit of momentum. Knights are the better team, in my opinion. Currently 4th somehow. Like, you'd never think of that.
Well, it's about to.
But yeah, I think the Knights, it will be a 1-12 game. It could be a sloppy game, but I do think the Knights win 1-12.
But you got to remember as well, man, that Titans forward pack, like, there was a certain portion in that game at Belmore where their offloading game was killing us.
Again,
And then Keanu Kinney also as well. But Tino, he looks like he's got something to prove. Look, was I booing him yesterday? Yeah. But that's just part of the culture at the moment. Look, this is another hard game for me to tip personally because it's Titans. They're up at the goal. They're back at Seabus. I want to say I'm still going to go Knights, but 1-12.
Yeah.
But it could easily go 13. If Kalaponga switches on, forget it.
Yeah. So then we got the Southern games. We got Eels, Bulldogs, and Sea Eagles, Raiders. I'm going to go Bulldogs 1-12. I think Eels will have something in this. Like, there's no way they go 3 weeks in a row and be absolutely terrible.
Look.
So I think there might be something. They did look lost, but they'll probably work on that. And hopefully Riles pulls something out of his fucking sleeve.
I'm going to go on a quick Bulldogs rant. This is obviously a rivalry match. It's big for us. I'm going Dogs 1-12. Before all the injuries, I thought it would be 13+. But 1-12, I still think we're going to get the job done. I think defensively, we're just much better at the moment. Our defensive thing, I think, is what's going to win us this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doggies 1-12.
And then
And
then on our final game, Sea Eagles versus Raiders, which could be a tough game. But if like, obviously it's a Monday. We're recording on a Monday. If DCE is in, Manly win. If DCE is not in, Raiders win.
Yeah.
That is my pure 1-12 either way. That is my tip for the
And
tips of the
I
week.
fully agree with Flaxy here. If DCE is a defining factor. If he plays, Manly win. If he doesn't, they lose. I do think he's going to play. I'm going to go Manly 1-12.
Yeah. Manly 1-12 if he plays. Raiders 1-12 if he doesn't. That's League Lads for the week. Obviously, it's a bit different. No Fred. Me, I'm back. Joseph as always. And Suey, we miss him, but he has to go have something to eat. Poor man goes all day without eating, but he's doing it for a good spiritual reason. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of League Lads. We'll be back next week. Fred should be back. I should be back. Everyone should be back. It'll be great.
We're back to full strength.
Full strength. It hasn't been like that in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, see you guys.
Thank you. God bless.